Hmm. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna search Anonymom. I can't. This is a thing that I can't ignore any longer. It's the last thing here I think that I have to do. So okay, this is not this is not what I thought it was gonna be. Anonymom was the second high-profile case after Felix Fellows of a potential new Roottrie being added to the Clancy Trust. Instead of claiming herself as a Roottree, however, she claimed she'd slept with Guy Hudson and that her daughter was a Roottree. The accusation came during the height of Roottreemania and began with a brief TV interview. She appeared in the shadows with a disguised voice and promoted an article about herself in News Time. Okay, so that's our first lead. In the TV interview and the article, she referred to her daughter as Jane Doe Roottree. The name Anonymom was not self-inflicted. It seemed to spring up organically because nobody knew how else to refer to her. The day after the Newstime article, Sam Madsen publicly supported Anonymom due to some parts of the story she found particularly credible. With the momentum from Sam's endorsement, Anonymom went on a media blitz. Ultimately, this backfired as more details came out. The people became skeptical of her story due to the extreme similarity to 5P's. Her accusation even included many of the same details of his mother's story. After fumbling the 5P story so publicly, the Roottrees were more prepared to handle all Clancy Trust-related cases. Within a week, a DNA test proved that Anonymom's daughter could not be related to the Roottrees. This was announced at a joint press conference with lawyers representing both Anonymom and the Roottrees. Each party ensured their respective clients provided accurate samples. Immediately after the negative results were released, many of those who had already been skeptical felt vindicated. Others who'd built up hope that history could repeat itself after 5Ps felt duped. Many people suspected the whole affair had been a hoax to gain fame and money. Many demanded that Anonymom be held accountable, and some people even began to attempt to track down her true identity. The Roottree company felt pressured to put out a second statement to try to curb some of the backlash, even going so far as to say, though it was scientifically proven that Jane Doe Roottree is not a Roottree, this doesn't mean her mother and Guy Hudson were not involved in an affair. She had every right to make her claim, as it had been verified that her stories about Guy Hudson were not exaggerations. Please leave their family alone. Many people claim this high-profile anticlimax and public backlash were the beginning of the end for Roottreemania, since much of the fun was the shared fascination about secret Rootrees. Others think that, like any fad, it just ran its course naturally. Jane Doe Roottree has already been eliminated as a potential new Roottree by the company's lawyers, who are the ones verifying your work. Anonymom's affair does not appear on your updated tree. Okay. But that does give us information. Because it means that Anonymom is one of the fired secretaries. Right? An anonymous woman appeared on the cover of Newstime holding a picture of her daughter Jane Doe Roottree. The first and only mention of the phrase Anonymom in Newstime came the week after, when they issued an apology for her featuring her in the first place. Summary of the initial cover article has been added to your evidence. Here we go again, another claim to the famous name. An anonymous woman holds a photo of her daughter. Unlike 5Ps, she wished to remain anonymous, and both photos were obscured. An anonymous woman claimed to have an affair with Guy Hudson while she was working as a secretary. She and another woman were hired at the same time during a transition period, while many of the secretaries that had worked under Zach Morton were already gone. Neither had... Fuck, man. Guy had his own requirements for hiring women. Fuck, that's huge. More excuses he had found. The anonymous woman posits that these parties mostly seem to be an excuse to have after parties at Guy's home, featuring much more alcohol and other substances. She claims she slept with him at one of these after parties. She confronted Guy when she found out she was pregnant. Guy didn't seem fazed, and they came to an arrangement. He paid her a significant amount of hush money on a recurring basis under the table. She used it to move away and start a new life with her daughter. After Guy died, the money stopped coming. She assumed things had run their course. Went back to work at the department store. I hope that no one ever looked too closely at how she paid for her house. Told everyone that her daughter's father walked out one day and never came back. After seeing the fantastic article in News Time, she realized that she wasn't the only one this happened to. Well, she never worked at Roottree Company at the same time as Five Pieces' mother, Joanna. Okay, we knew that. Their stories seemed eerily similar, and she knew Felix was telling the truth right away. Wow, she never worked at the Roottree Company at the same time as Five Pieces' mother, Joanna. Okay. Article presented no tangible evidence of the anonymous woman's time at Roottree. All payments were allegedly made in cash. However, using details she provided to News Time, the reporters were able to reach out to other women hired at the same time, who also remained anonymous. They successfully fact-checked the timeline of both women and confirmed the existence of the infamous after-parties. Okay. The secretaries that had worked under Zach Morden were already gone. I'm just having to process in my brain. Okay, so it's not Beth Knox because they were not employed at the same time. Raffer tunes, I need to look at that again. $10.10.250. Apparently a phone number you can dial before making a long distance call to receive a discount from the telephone company. For the past few months, you've been inundated with ads for it. This includes TV spots starring celebrities, radio commercials, parodies, popular songs to seem relevant to your search. Raffertune's domain was likely purchased by a third party when the license expired. Okay. Beatrice Watts and Corrine Schwartz. Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing. Lisa Lewis. Valerie Ewing. Susan Ford, interpreter. I was so fucking right. Okay. So, hold on. Lisa Lewis, Valerie Ewing. No longer employed. Okay. I'm pretty confident. Man, this is so tough. Because now I'm not tracking down. Now I'm not tracking down the thing specifically. I'm tracking down who wasn't. Instead of doing process of elimination, I'm doing process of qualification, which is like fucking impossible. Ah, fuck. I'm like in pain. So hold on. Susan Ford, I'm confident, was the final affair. But it might be an earlier affair. I don't know. $80 office staff. Okay, so these are all the names of people that we can straight up eliminate. These women were not the affair, as far as I know. I mean, she was, but the rest of them, Anonymom cannot be one of these. And she didn't work with anyone, or she wasn't hired when any of these people were employed. So, Beth Knox was still working in 76. Beth Knox no longer... Oh, okay, yeah. Beth Knox was not working in 77. So, Joanna Robertson and Beth Knox not there. Which means Doris Mays and Juliet McCullen are the next two to wait for. So, okay, it can't be any of these. So it definitely is Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing. So one of these two is Anonymom. Okay, so Lisa Lewis, Valerie Ewing. I don't know if there's any way for me to, like, track this down, though. Oh, man. See, like, the issue is that, like, order, you can't, like, oh my god, you can't just, like, eliminate them. You have, both of them are possible. This is such a fucking dead end. This sucks. Ugh. I feel like we need to solve other affairs before I can start whittling these two down. I really just have to track her down. If I can track her down, like, I already have these locked in, and I'm 100% certain about them. There's no way these aren't correct. So I have to probably find either a source of information or an article I already missed. Your stretch last mentioned in 1990. In 1990 it was renamed. Okay. Maybe I have to use this. Oh my god. Grandorf score for blah, 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 blah. Okay. Grandorf School for the Deaf has made a few odd appearances here and there in the Butler County Times since 1990. It is not too many that you can't look at all of them, and so after scrolling through a few pages, you managed to find something incredibly useful in an article. Local students provide key evidence in scientific study. March of this year mentions that the Ford sisters, who attend public school in Butler County, are only a handful of identical twins in the world who suffer from two different genetic issues. One of them has asthma, the other has a deadly allergy to peanuts. Their mother, Miss Susie Ford, okay, that didn't, who is principal at the nearby Grandorf School for the Deaf, was originally contacted by researchers looking to identify if there are any sets of twins where one was born deaf and the other was not. She didn't have any twins attending her school. She asked if her daughters, Melissa and Heather, could be useful. It turns out they were. She says they couldn't be more different. My youngest, we call her that even though it's only by about 15 minutes, is shy. Essentially hasn't stopped running from the moment she learned to scamper. Asthma has kept her sister off the soccer field, but she's the definition of extrovert. Even performing a local production Is There Life After High School later this year. Seems like a high school in Butler County performed Is There Life After High School. Heather Ford. Okay. So Heather hold on. Okay. Melissa is the youngest. Okay. So this is Heather and this is Melissa. Wait, did I get that right? So the older is Heather. Yes, okay. And the younger is Melissa Ford, student. Oh, sweet mother of fuck. This means I didn't get these two right. Oh, yes! I'm so fucking good, guys. The Elizabeth secretary was a red herring. He misheard Bess as Beth. Okay. Okay, we made some fucking progress. Finally. Jeez. How am I supposed to find her fucking picture? It's so hard. It's so hard to find fucking anything. Okay. What do I have? I guess I have the company records. Is there anything else I can search? I don't know. Let's see. Only president of Roottree for a few years in the late 70s and early 80s. What about, has anything updated with, like, the actual Roottree sisters? Or maybe, like, this thing? Who took over the company? Clark did. Website you used to initially place Raina, Rose, and Riley is still up, though instead of a cheery pink background with purple text, it's now more traditional black text on a white background. Young webmaster has turned the site into a memorial for the sisters and their father. It seems like she did end up getting her ears pierced like Rose after all. Regardless, there's no relevant information, just a picture of the girls and a sad MIDI piano playing. From other higher profile sites, you find that a charity has been set up in the girls' name, the Roottree Sisters Fashion Scholarship. The Root website has a small memorial section to the deceased members of the family. Ouch. Let's see. The most recent catalog, spring 1999, had an entirely black cover with no text on it. On the leadership page, you learn that Root is currently managed by a designer who's apparently Brenda White, second in command. Don't recognize her name. Seems unrelated. Okay. You find information about the Roottrees Sisters Fashion Scholarship. It's awarded to 3 underprivileged high school girls each year who wish to pursue a career in fashion. Apparently, it also gives them an opportunity to show off their designs on professional models on a real runway. According to the site, the fund was created directly from shares that would have contributed to the inheritance of the Roottrees Sisters. What version of the site is this? Okay, this is this. Okay. Like other aspects of Clans of Trust, it's managed by Ruby Legal Enterprises. Name of the law firm that has been hired by Roottree Candy Company. The company is named after its head lawyer, Ruby Spratt. Ruby Spratt, like her legal company, is relatively elusive. The most complete source of information you can find from her time with the Rootrees is from a website for a magazine owned by a major airline. She was the subject of one article from a recurring series about modern-day success stories. Ruby grew up in foster care, but excelled at school and earned a scholarship to study at Mid-Eastern University. Mid-Eastern University, noble private college that advertises itself as midway between Maine and Miami. Damn. Mascot is the Spectres, though they're not known for their sports programs as much as their education. Their legal and language departments are their pride and joy. They have also fairly extensive computer science and robotics programs. Along with the other prestigious schools that haven't quite reached the notoriety of Ivy League schools, some refer to it as a Little Ivy. Okay, colleges embrace this, calling their newspaper the Herald. School newspaper of Mid-Eastern University appears available on your periodical archive. Hey. Website boasts that they have a historical technology museum on campus, including a still functioning computer from the 1960s. It takes a full room. Printing press that they use to print one special year-end issue of the Herald each year. Okay, that's fine. Blah, blah, blah. High-profile corporate involved cases she was part of. One was a legal consultant for a class action lawsuit against the manufacturer of his steering wheel covers. The other was to help a local gas station chain in her hometown of Portland with the rollout. Gas station customers will be able to bet on the price of gas. The blurb ends by calling her new firm a double threat. Her company's services are cross between traditional lawyer. Okay. Ruby Legal Enterprises now seems to have ties to multiple aspects of the Roottree Corporation, including the candy company and Root. They were recently in the news due to a high-profile lawsuit they raised against Cicely Sanchez. Cicely Sanchez is an author best known for Portrait of a Changed Man, released in 1979. Her follow-up, Foreign Gospel, did not perform as well critically, but still sold quite respectably. She has written a few more books since then, including a biography of Van Gogh, refers to her claim to fame. According to what was said about authors, Cicely is known for her nonfiction with a focus on exploring darkness in the human psyche. Recently, Cicely appeared in a magazine called Piketty with an article about a book she had commissioned to write for Guy Hudson. Piketty is a category of flower with an outline around the edges of its petals. Piketty magazine is a publication that, as far as you can tell, has no consistent theme. Tabloid-esque articles. Unlike traditional tabloids, it doesn't typically feature celebrities on the cover. Instead, it tends to latch on to create sensationalist headlines about whatever subject appears to be popular. In magic years, this included Beanie Babies, Magic Eye images, and even Red Bull. It often comes under fire for printing fiction along with facts. Piketty gets around this by stating that every issue, that all of its articles are the hearsay that's fit to print. At one point, Piketty ran an article about Cicely Sanchez. She claims to have written an unread book about Guy Hudson. Article was not even the main focus of the issue. It's written legally by the Roottree Company. Particular issue, Big Sass Sea Bass issue, was pulled from shelves. It's now become a collector's item, especially among conspiracy theorists attempting to figure out the Roottree Company was hiding. You find a recently finished online auction that listed a copy for over $1,000, though nobody bid. In an issue that focused on a talking toy fish and the demonic messages it supposedly said as the batteries ran low, Piketty had an article about a canceled book by Cicely Sanchez. Book subject was Guy Hudson, and the issue was said to contain pictures that Cicely did not have the rights to publish. Because of the pictures, the issue was pulled from the store shelves, making it the subject of some conspiracies. Instant collector's item. Due to the recall, the version found in this archive is incomplete. Okay. Magazine Cicely herself immediately ceased and desist to the included pictures didn't publish. Yep, that's fine. Do we want to look at this? Root website, memorial section. Yep, okay. It's all the same. Alright, let's look at this. Piketty. Basilbub? 8? Jesus Christ. How are there this many? How are there this many clues in this fucking image? I am like not okay with how many clues this is saying there are. I'm like deeply upset about that, actually. Fuck me. What was the name of her thing? Her books? Portrait of a Changed Man. Out of print. What if everything you stand for, everything you know to be true today could disappear in an instant? All of your politics relationships gone. Cicely Sanchez tells a powerful story about a man who woke up after being saved from drowning in his backyard pool and became an entirely different person. Included are interviews from those who knew him best before, as well as one-on-one chat that paints an entirely different picture. What if that were me? Okay. Sort of irrelevant, but... Foreign Gospel. Foreign Gospel tells a tale of a man from the Catholic Church who claims he was told by God that he should travel to Thailand and begin to preach. Over 10,000 people. He returned to the United States after 2 years, claiming to have succeeded. This book tells his version of the story, but the author, Cicely Sanchez, also traveled to Thailand to investigate these claims and talk with some of the so-called converted. This feels like such a fucking dead end. Book subject was Guy Hudson. Can I... Is it gonna just bring up the same thing? Yeah. What could I possibly find? Magazine was issued cease and desist by the Roottrees lawyers. Could this popular gift be filling homes with satanic messages? Had the relevant pages removed, rendering the magazine useless. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I do want to read about this. I need to figure out where to go with this Piketty thing. I mean, I literally do want to read about a demonic fish toy. That sounds incredible. Oh, shit. Fuck. Pogfish sits on a fake mount on your wall. When you push the button and speak into it, mimics your voice, and then it insults you. Many people consider it a ripoff of a more popular wall-mounted communication-based fish decoration. Packaging makes it clear. This one does not sing. Said the advertisements say, set big sass sea bass apart from its competitors is a sardonic and sarcastic wit that will leave you reeling with laughter. It's oceans of fun for the whole family. You'll be hooked on the big sassy bass. The words reeling, oceans, and hooked are conveniently bolded to ensure you recognize how clever the copywriter was. On the cover of Picayune magazine, the same issue that a Roottree related article appeared. The issue was removed from stores after the Rootrees sued the magazine. Issues become a collector's item, ripe for conspiracy theories about what the Roottree were trying to keep from its people. Ooh. During your initial search, you came across Thomas Overwood's conspiracy page about the Rootrees. 8 months later, the page still exists and is thriving. The visitor counter has reached 7 digits. Many older articles have been replaced. It seems that the recent uprising in Roottree news has left Thomas Overwood with a constant stream of events to base new theories on. I literally don't remember this guy. More than one of his theories involve Roottree deaths being faked. According to Overwood, statistically, when you have this many high-profile people who've died in a family, the odds are that one of them faked their death. It's just math. Newfound focus... Ooh. There we go. Crazy that my forward and back buttons, work. They function correctly. Statistically, when you have this many high-profile people who've died in a family, the odds are that one of them faked their death. It's just math. One of his posts, what if the demon fish had an affair with Guy? That's what I'm saying. There's something fishy going on here. Ron Roottree is still in charge. Gwyn Roottree's death was faked, and that Clark is only there to throw people off. Apparently, this allowed Ron to travel to France to develop their new candy recipe in secret. Another is about the rapper 5 Piece. He can't possibly be a Roottree. One of his first album songs, forming under the devil name, actually mentioned that he wanted to have sex with Raina. Not even Sam Madsen is spared. According to Overwood, the author of 6 Pieces isn't real. Sam Madsen is an anagram for Am Madness. They're purposefully leaving hints for us. Claims that by using 6 Pieces with Lauren Roottree's book as a one-time pad, he has begun to decrypt a cipher. Most of the cipher was meaningless, but he managed to pick out the words people and vastness and is working on figuring out what it means. Request at the bottom, next year is a leap year, and Overwood is looking for funds and volunteers to catch Roottrees red-handed on Operation RT-29. Did this come up? Mentions he's volunteer, but he's ever drunk Spirit Cola, but doesn't go into why. More conspiracy websites. Oh, this one hasn't been updated. Polyglycerol polyricinoleate seems to be an emulsifier in chocolates approved by the FDA and widely used across many products. Okay. What did... He's begun believing in Guy's not dead theory. In his own words, my eyes have been opened. All the beginning make too much sense. Okay. Guy's not dead conspiracy theory stems from a website that focuses on clues that the Rootrees have supposedly hid all over the place. This includes on candy wrappers, in print ad... Oh my Jesus Christ. How many hints did that just give me? In their jingles. The story, according to the website, is that Guy Hudson was a terrible president of the Roottree Company and introduced multiple failed products. Something needed to be done that would put the company immediately and instantly back in the favor of consumers. So they killed off Guy Hudson and replaced him with a new president. We've immediately garnered sympathy, and the company recovered the next year, more popular than ever. The next president stayed much further out of the limelight, and some people even theorize that he was simply Guy Hudson in an elaborate disguise, which is why he stopped appearing in public. People who run the site are asking for help. They're certain there's a clue to all this that accidentally leaked in a banned article from the magazine Piketty. On their page is a scan of the magazine's cover, the interview with Cicely Sanchez about Guy Hudson, and some photos. Okay, we got them. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hey. This person. Who the fuck are these people? This is Cicely Sanchez. Okay, Cicely Sanchez. Who the H are you? This is Zach Morden and Guy Hudson. Guy Hudson looks like such a creepo. This didn't help me. Fuck me. This did not help me as much as I thought it did. I'm gonna guess, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Who are you? I'm really curious about this person. This was while Clark... And so this is while Guy was alive, obviously. And Clark was around. So who the F are you, lady? What year did, what's his name? Zach would be retiring, Guy would be taking over during the following changes took place. 1977. Okay. So does this make her Christine? If I get that, then that I'm gonna just put this here. We're gonna assume that that is correct. I need to keep looking at shit, but I... Okay. You claim to have been paid a significant amount of money to write a book about one of the Roottrees. Guy Hudson, he was president. Yes, I met him on New Year's Eve, actually, last night of 1978. Guy liked to throw big parties. I was coming off of Changed Man and looking for my next project. When his wife learned who I was, she invited me to the party and they cornered me to talk about a book. First time anyone recognized me for my work. I finally made it. The book they asked me to write sounded great, but then none of the stuff that made him interesting was allowed to stay. Chop, chop, snip, snip. Anything with even the slightest threat to Guy's image ended up gonzo. Stuff that made him interesting. At his core, Guy was not complicated. In fact, I think I could boil him down to two traits. First, he wanted to be seen as the second coming of the great Elias Roottree. Second, he'd never be satisfied living the life needed to be seen that way. He had his fortune and good looks, and he really liked to exploit that to pick up women. But he couldn't let anyone else know, so it cost him a lot to cover it up. That was the only interesting aspect of Guy. He was a James Bond trying to convince people he was Mr. Rogers, I guess. Maybe that's not the best metaphor, but Elias Roottree was boring as all hell and all about family. Guy did everything he could to be seen that way. After I finished my first draft, he sent me the garbage book, The Roottree Legacy, with Elias on the cover. Last time he and I met, he'd even switched out his orange suits for the same green ones Elias wore. Okay. Remember fancy flavors? Guy knew that part of Elias's legacy was the 5-piece flavors, so that's what Guy tried to do. Caviar was a disaster here, but it's actually somewhat popular in Brazil for whatever reason. In Christmas 1979, he went to Brazil to open the Roottree Brazil factory. Oh. Roottree Brasil, sometimes erroneously referred to as Roottree Brazil, is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Roottree candy. Developed as part of Roottree Everywhere initiative. Holy shit. Oh my god, I found another rabbit hole. Ooh. Highlight that real quick. I can't get off track. I cannot get off track. I need to keep reading this. Hopping around the world. It's complicated. I had an out on my contract. Surprisingly, Guy signed the contract my lawyers wrote without even running it by anybody in his legal department. I could pull my name off the book at any time, but Guy still got the content. Huh? After I left, it probably got a lot harder. Brazil is pronounced the same way as Brazil. I was enunciating so that my American friends wouldn't know, so that they could tell that it was two different words. Interview continues on the next page. He was president, right? Do you know why he never released it himself? If I had to guess, his family very wisely put a stop to it. Mid-1981, months after I'd already moved on, he called me back and showed me a final draft. Do you know how expensive it is to publish one copy of a book? It had my name on it in big, shiny embossed letters. Like all problems in his life, throwing money at me was his attempt to win me back. But I had half the page count and the narrative was torn to bits. No thanks. The dinner was good. Imported steak that likely cost as much as a month of my mortgage. And we all got pretty drunk. He sent me his mistress, Susie something, into the bathroom to proposition me. Poor girl. I remembered her from our trips overseas. She was too good for him. Anyway, he died soon after, and that was the last it ever came up. Can you tell us about the family? Any insight into the scandals from the recent book by Sam Madsen? Okay, I'm gonna assume then, because she has two photos, that this is her. I guess they both have brown hair. There's some familial resemblance here, right? Do we want to... Garen, do we want to say that is right? I think that's probably right. Because she's the only one with an extra photo left. Oh, fuck. Here we go. She only had rumors, whereas I spent time tailing him. Sometimes he knew, sometimes he didn't. He invited me to join them when dealing with Roottree Brazil, but I actually had people on him when we went to Australia, France, and China too. When he met with someone, I'd figure who they were and how they were involved. Doubly so if the meeting happened when he didn't want me to be around. Despite his best efforts, I got the whole truth, including things even his family never knew. For example, the daughter of his business partner in Australia, I think her name was Robin, he and she definitely spent a few nights together that he didn't want his family to know about, but I did. Huh. Madsen got things wrong. Sam mentions Guy's affairs and treats them like most people would logically think to treat them. Like the infidelity was a problem for Patricia. When his wife first approached me, though, it wasn't a talk, if you get my meaning. On paper and in public, it was a marriage like any other, but in reality, it was more of a mutually beneficial arrangement. They both got what they wanted out of it, the same thing. What was that? I'm assuming I only have to spell it out so you can get it in writing for your readers. Women. Patricia enjoyed the company of women, and the swinger scene made that more accessible. I told her I wasn't interested in her and Guy. Found out later that if I had said yes, her next question would have been whether or not her husband actually had to be there too. Guy, on the other hand, was seen in a traditional marriage and at the same time could bed any woman that found him charming. I can assure you that he was exactly the type of marriage he was interested in. So there's 2 hints here. And 1 here. This is probably Robin, right? Okay. Now I guess we have some stuff to do. I guess we have something to do here. Interesting. This is my only guess for her. Because she was a secretary. It could be one of the others, though. I don't know. I need to look at this picture really quickly and make sure I'm not losing my mind. I don't actually know who the fuck this is. This might not be Cicely Sanchez. I might be profiling these people. That is such a guess.